Sit back, relax, and enjoy as Don Tony gives you news and reviews from AEW.
Welcome to the party! Oh my God! Those are coming, Sammy!
NXT.
It's over! Cross is here to ransack NXT soul!
And Indy Wrestling. It's Wednesday night, Don-O-Mite.
Know what's happening in the world of wrestling without the hate and clickbait. And now, your host, Don Tony.
What's up, everybody? Wow, tomorrow is April Fool's. Man, does this year seem to be flying by. March 31st, 2021. I am back for Wednesday night Dynamite. Thank you all for tuning in as always. Much love, much love. And by the way, thank you everyone for the well wishes of this crazy week. 7 days ago, burned my hand, burned my leg, had to go to the hospital, urgent care. Let's be honest, urgent care. 2 days ago, I posted pictures, the video on Twitter, on the show. I fell down a flight of stairs. My ankle looked like it swallowed a golf ball. Now my foot is all purple, but I got painkillers. So it hasn't been a good 7 days for yours truly. As far as wrestling goes, though, I think we've had a pretty decent 7 days. SoFly says thumbs down for this shirt. Look, I represented AEW tonight. My Dexter Lumis shirt is dirty still. I didn't wash it yet. I try to, pile them up and wash them all at the same time. My impersonation of Roderick Strong might trigger a few people tonight. We'll get into that in a little bit. I know you'd mess with me. I know. It's all good. I appreciate humor. I appreciate a little trolling if it's done the right way. Now, a couple of things right off the bat. A lot of you have been asking me, what am I going to do about Wednesday Night Dynamite because of this? Now, look. We've been talking about NXT moving to Tuesday nights for about 7 or 8 months now. I don't think it was a surprise for anybody out there. I think it was just a matter of when would it happen. It is official. NXT will be moving to Tuesday nights, April 13th. And I'll tell you what's really interesting. I wanted to get a good idea as far as how we handle NXT recaps in the near future and how we handle AEW. So I thought, you know what? Let me talk to my family, the members here on YouTube, and I wanted their input more than anything else because I know that they are really supportive of the show, as all of you, and I've been getting a lot of your DMs and emails with ideas as well. And I'll tell you the most fascinating thing about all of your feedback as far as how I should cover NXT going forward, because it really came down to two choices. Keep Wednesdays as they are, recap NXT, yes, a day late, but recap NXT and AEW on a Wednesday night, mix it up like I always do, or cut the shows, split them in half. Do 1 hour on Tuesdays dedicated to NXT, do 1 hour on Wednesdays dedicated to AEW, and even though it's doing shows 5 consecutive days, only having to do an hour is not bad for yours truly. 90% of you said, we don't need a recap on Tuesdays. Keep doing it on Wednesdays as it is. And that surprised me because I figure once a show goes off the air live, that's when you want to talk about it more than anybody else. And I was surprised at the feedback. So as of right now, even though NXT is going to move to Tuesday nights starting April 13th, yours truly will continue Wednesday Night Dynamite as it was before. We will recap both shows on Wednesday night. I guess the good thing about it, too, is now you have my undivided attention watching on Tuesday night. I could be a little bit more detailed with my notes, things that stand out to me. I could be totally focused on AEW on Wednesday nights. And then I just take my notes and we'll do it. And so as of right now, both recaps will still take place on Wednesdays. Now, if NXT does improve to the point where it's must-see TV, and let's be honest, there's virtually nothing in wrestling right now that is must-see TV, that if we watched it on a replay, it's not the end of the world. But if NXT really goes back to their roots, and I think this is the biggest problem NXT has had. I talked about it briefly on Patreon yesterday with Mish, but I think this is probably, and I think all of you will agree with me on this one, NXT really in the past focused on developing stars with the intentions on bringing them to Raw and SmackDown. You know, NXT was the developmental for Raw and SmackDown for WWE. That's where the majority of their money is made. Just based on pay-per-views and subscriptions and merchandise and this, you know, NXT has things as well, has shirts for sale, but it's not on the level of WWE in the main roster. Then AEW comes around, and suddenly NXT personnel get insulted when you call NXT the minor leagues for WWE. They get insulted. And then this aura came out that NXT is the third brand of WWE. Yeah, that's until like the Royal Rumble comes around and other areas. Look at WrestleMania. I know they have their own takeover events, but let's be honest. NXT was always the developmental for WWE. You look at the Wyatt family. You look at Bray Wyatt and his development. Look at even, God rest his soul, Brody Lee, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. You look at some of these stars. Even when Samoa Joe first came in, he had to go through NXT because Vince McMahon didn't think that Samoa Joe would be satisfactory for the main roster. I don't know what One Fall is saying. I don't know if he just wants a plug. If you just want a plug. But anyway. Bottom line is this. Not going to lose my train of thought. Bottom line is this. WWE, with NXT, they lost their focus. A lot of the corny shit that you complained about on WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown started to leak in with NXT. You would have, no pun intended, lots of swerves, but not swerves where it's like, holy shit, look at this turn, look at this swerve. No, it was swerves like teasing a match, and then somebody is just beat down in the back and the match changes. This is delayed, this is this, that. Then you got stupid shit. I'm sorry. William Regal, they have turned him for the last couple of months primarily into a clown. It's not his fault, but to see a storyline where Kyle O'Reilly is being arrested for running Adam Cole off the road or attempting to run him off the road, and they have him in cuffs in a cop car, and William Regal is like, remember, let's paint the picture. Kyle O'Reilly was banned from the Capitol Wrestling Center that night because Kyle O'Reilly was such a loose cannon. So he was banned. So what does he do for being banned? Storyline, tries to run Adam Cole off the road, gets arrested. And William Regal cuts a promo. If the cops don't press charges, I want them in the building next week. Maybe if Kyle O'Reilly would have, hacked Adam Cole to death, maybe he would have let him in the building that night. It's just some of this stuff got really, really stupid. But you could see, they still have a huge core nucleus. They got a plethora of talent. And now you're finally going to get to see all the focus and the development on their stars. They got to go back to their roots. And they have definitely lost focus. Now, to the AEW diehards out there that are gloating on social media that they chased NXT off of Wednesday nights, I don't know why you would be so thrilled. This benefits everybody. Wrestling fans no longer have to choose. And let me tell you something. Mish brought out such a phenomenal point yesterday. And you know how I am. I always like to twist things around into the ridiculous territory. But just to basically say what Mish said with my little added twist to it, pretend all of you out there, I don't know, pretend you go into a whorehouse. Pretend it's legal. Wherever you live, pretend it's legal. And you want to go to a whorehouse. Men want to go to a female whorehouse, male whorehouse, well, I don't care. Whatever floats your boat. You want to go to a house of ill repute. You walk in there, and you got a chubby girl. You got a skinny girl. You have an anorexic-looking girl. You have a black girl, a white girl, a Japanese girl, an Ecuadorian, Dominican, Spanish. If guys float your boat, you got a muscle guy, you got a dad body guy, you got a model, you got someone that looks like Cameron Grimes. You got this whole selection. So you're looking around like, wow, who do I choose? Who do I choose? Now, picture you going back to that whorehouse. There's only one person in there. But I don't want this. Where is everybody? Now, if you only have one person in there and you're not interested, well, guess what? You may not go back to that whorehouse again. So, moving this to Tuesday nights, if fans out there are not necessarily into AEW, they don't have NXT on Wednesday night to keep changing the channel and channel surfing like we all used to do. And the flip goes for NXT. You're watching NXT and it's boring as fuck. You don't have AEW to switch the channel to unless AEW really wants to be a prick and air something on Tuesday nights. But you think about that. Think about that. You might have fans because they know an alternative is not on Tuesday nights anymore, or Tuesday nights period, or Wednesday nights anymore. They may just not tune in. So my message to people out there that want to gloat about NXT moving to Tuesday nights, especially those weird people on both sides, the weird people that despise AEW but tweet 1,000 times about them because they just want to get attention. Then you got these AEW diehards. Christian returns today. I loved it. Had about a 15-minute match with Frankie Kazarian. Christian outworked Frankie tonight. Looked great. Wasn't epic, amazing, unbelievable. I could die tomorrow and I'm a happy wrestling fan. You want Christian Cage. You want the suspension of disbelief that he is returning, but he's got a long journey to get to the top. You don't want him to come in and have a 5-star match right off the bat. You don't want him to come in and have a 4-star match off the bat. You want him to come in and look like he belongs. Christian Cage tonight belongs. Will he outwork everyone? That's some big weight to put on his shoulders. Something tells me Christian Cage likes the challenge. And I wish him nothing but the best of luck. But I'm reading some of these wackos online. That Christian tonight, amazing, unbelievable, incredible. I can't believe it. He's better than this person. Shut up. Please. You're not going to get the Tony Khan hand job tonight. You're not going to get the like and a retweet that you can make as a banner and tattoo to your head. Stop with this over-the-top shit because you're going to hurt AEW. Because if AEW does not have a substantial increase in ratings unopposed, what excuse are you going to give now? What excuse are you going to give? You can't blame it on NXT anymore. So I think everybody out there, enjoy what you enjoy. And if you are not interested in one brand or the other, just don't tune in. But, you know, I don't know if it was Ryan Nemeth. I think he wrote something on Twitter yesterday like, you know, the wrestling fans are the biggest complainers about wrestling. And it's no longer, well, we just want it to be better. We just want it to be better. Pro wrestling is one of those forms of entertainment that has droves and droves and droves of social media people. You know, you and I, we're all on it. But that desperate crave of being noticed, to do the standout tweet, the catchy one-liner, whether it's epic or it's terrible, that is, like I've been saying for years, it's a drug. And we're in 2021. And I've been saying for 15 plus years that the pussification of America is coming. Am I saying that a lot of you tuning in right now are, you know, sissies? No. But what I'm saying is that for a lot of people out there, getting attention, getting compliments, getting, you know, just amazing response, that is replaced actually going out and trying to earn it. So you have people creating fake profiles. They'll lie 1,000 times over. They'll, you know, attention-seeking tweets and this and that just to be noticed. And trust me, in this world that we live in right now, it's not just you and I that crave that. It's people with blue check marks. It's executives. It's athletes. It's wrestlers. It's basketball players. It's musicians. It's politicians. It's pretty much everybody. Not every era in the world, every area in the world, you have those people that crave that attention, no matter how ridiculous it is. You better hope to God that AEW does 850 plus on a weekly basis right now. And trust me, I think that's even low. AEW, no reason why they can't pull 1 million viewers now. You're only asking for 250,000 of NXT viewers to watch Wednesday nights. That's not a lot. 1 million viewers. And let's be honest. Tonight's AEW was a hell of a lot of fun. That shit was fun tonight. But you know, I hope you are noticing what the plans, what the format is, what the skeleton of AEW is turned into. Chaos, clusterfucks, 10, 12 people brawling, interference, after-match beatdowns, over and over and over and over and over. I think Christian and Kazarian, for the most part, might have been the most tame match that we got tonight. If everybody causes fucking chaos every week, no one is going to cause chaos every week. The Inner Circle with the Pinnacle tonight, that was awesome. A lot of people were saying that is the Inner Circle that we've been missing. If you follow me on Wednesday nights and I get into the quarter-hour rating breakdowns, do you remember a long time ago when Chris Jericho was triggering a lot of people, calling himself the demo god because of the ratings that he would do and the Inner Circle would do? If you follow my shows on Friday when I do the quarter-hour breakdowns, in Inner Circle, we're having terrible numbers for the most part. Numbers that weren't even the top of the night. That's why Demo God vanished. The soap opera stuff was terrible. Inner Circle go to Vegas. A week later, we might break up. A week later, oh, we're going to fight each other just to get it out of our system. Then we're together again. Then all of a sudden, this person falls out. And then, oh, we're going to have a tag team, 3-team match to determine who goes on to fight for tag titles. And it ends up being Jericho and MJF. And what happens? Santana Ortiz get a title shot, I think, the following week. And then it was a battle royal to determine, and they're all in it. It was a goddamn mess. And trust me, I've compared it to car accidents before. I've compared it to police chases before. Sometimes with that chaos, you can't turn away. And chaos is fine and everything. But if this is going to be the blueprint of AEW, you got to keep raising it up a notch. That's what happened with the Monday Night Wars. I lived through it. The Monday Night Wars, you saw the match quality and the pay-per-view quality matches being done on TV to outbeat the other, instead of just building. Does it feel right now that, there's any real deep character development? Just because Moxley comes out with the Young Bucks, does it feel like character development? Look at Hikaru Shida, the top woman in AEW. Look at her title reign since she's got that title. It's not her fault. Her title reign as AEW Women's Champion is one of the most embarrassing title reigns in recent memory. It's not her fault at all. She is defended like that, 2 or 3 times? They put her in, you see tonight, why did they have her and Ty Conti team up even though they lost? So Ty Conti could ultimately turn on Hikaru Shida and they have the match. Ty Conti is very good. There's nothing wrong with her. But this clusterfuck, constant 10 people out there. Now you got the QT faction of students. I mean, no disrespect, nothing personal, but do I care about Igloo or whatever their fucking name is, Kazoo, and some of these students? The teacher and the students are going to fight the natural nightmares? Do it in your backyard. Do it at a barbecue. Do it at the beach. Don't do it on my television set. Why the fuck did QT Marshall get 20 plus minutes of time tonight? Oh, because he works until 6 in the morning. And I will always acknowledge, to the day I stop doing shows, I will always acknowledge how valuable QT Marshall is behind the scenes. That guy is one of the most important people working behind the scenes for AEW. I acknowledge that. He deserves, all the accolades he gets for helping AEW get to what it is today. That doesn't fucking mean you give him, a Diamond Dallas Page. You now have my diamond cutter. He gets a girlfriend. Now he has a wife and doesn't care about the girlfriend. Then he's in a natural nightmares. Then he's off the natural. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. For the most part, nobody cares. Look at the feedback for the last week. I don't care how much Tony Khan wants to publicly, show how valuable QT is. We're wrestling fans. We want to be entertained. And just because people go out there and beat people up doesn't mean it becomes must-see TV. If everybody brawls, nobody brawls. Seriously. Oh, by the way, tomorrow's Don Tony show will be a little bit abbreviated because I am going on a little mini vacation. I'm not changing my plans, even if I have to limp all weekend. So tomorrow show's going to be a little shorter, but tomorrow I'm going to give away a dual signed photo, Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. Really, really nice, sexy pose. I think you'll approve of it. And I'm going to give away cash too. So we're going to have 2 winners tomorrow night. I will give you a hint. Of what the contest will be tomorrow. In tribute of QT Marshall, we're going to do a contest called Who Dat? Who Dat? I'm going to show you a picture of a wrestler. I'm not going to show you them when they were 15 years old so you have no fucking idea who they are. But I'm going to show you a wrestler, a picture of them over the last 10 years. Somebody that is currently wrestling, could be in WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, MLW, Ring of Honor. And trust me, it's not a nobody. I'm just going to put the picture on the screen and say, who dat? And the first 2 people that get it right get the prizes. So, who dat? Who dat? That'll be tomorrow. By the way, speaking of who dat? Oh, this was funny tonight. Oh, my God. I thought that was hilarious. We had Gigi Dolin. She made technically her NXT match debut, if you want to leave out, the Battle Royal or the recent tournament. But she teamed up this week, and people were wondering, like, who that? Who that? A lot of you out there may remember her as AQA. All right. She was from Booker T's school, but it was hilarious online. Like people just writing like, oh, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell beat Gigi Dolin and a student or two students. That is, for anyone that wants to know, that is Angela Quintina Arnold. She is now wrestling in NXT as Zayda Ramier. Zayda Ramier. So for everyone out there that was saying tonight, who that? That. So there you go. She's actually very talented. She comes from Booker T school. There is some footage of her wrestling on YouTube. If you are curious to see her work, go check it out. Bright future. We also found out today that Mi Yang likes to vape. Oh my God, I wish I kept my vape pen. I mean, what was that tonight? She chokes out Caden Carter, and then with the vape pen, everyone leered. The fuck was that? Seriously. I like the choke. It's like Star Trek, just, in slow motion, because when Spock used to do it, Spock used to be like, and they would always have the sound effect. It would go, ding. Now it's, and then, Mi Yang. I hope she uses mouthwash before she does that. She blew the chronic in her face, so fly. What about Roderick Strong? And please, everyone, don't be triggered. This is for comedic purposes only. Roderick Strong has a match with Cameron Grimes tonight. Opening match. Balls on WWE for doing that. Oh, that quarter is going to be in the sixes. I see it already. Maybe 700,000 at the most. Now, because I am not going to be here Friday night, I will do the quarter-hour ratings probably on Monday. In fact, I may do a special episode on Tuesday, and I might even ask Mish to come on so we could do takeover predictions for both nights, and then maybe sneak in the quarter-hour ratings too. So Tuesday afternoon. It will not affect Patreon for my Patreon family out there. But Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to ask Mish if he's around, if he wants to hang out for like an hour. We'll do predictions and quarter-hour ratings. But NXT opens up today with Cameron Grimes and Roderick Strong. Now, we know about the whole storyline with the Undisputed Era. And first of all, they're having like a 15-minute match, which to me, I just thought was totally unnecessary. But the sad thing about it is Cameron Grimes has, I guess, the wristband in his trunks. And the wristband is from the Undisputed Era. Now, it's okay all around the building, they have Undisputed Era shirts for sale and this and that, but Cameron Grimes takes out a wristband. Now, he's not going to use it, a foreign object. You can hit me with a wristband all you want. But he takes it out and he drops it in front of Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong hits a move on Cameron Grimes. And Roderick Strong, looks at the armband and gets all depressed and triggered. And he's just looking at it. Now remember, Cameron Grimes took it out of his trunks. So if I'm Cameron Grimes for a minute, and here is Roderick Strong. You know what I would have done if I was Roderick Strong? Fucking pussy shit. Get the fuck out of here, baby. They see an armpand. Ooh, and he loses. And he walks out of the Battle Royal. Fucking pussy. Storyline, of course. Everybody, I sound like Xia Li. I know I triggered some people tonight. Mom, my hands hurt from tearing out. There was zippers on that and stuff like that. That was a pillowcase. Wasn't a wristband. Maybe for Andre the Giant. So, so that's what we got tonight. And Cameron Grimes gets the win. And he's so upset. He's so freaking upset. I'm done. I leave. WWE hurt his character. Seriously, just leave. Go back to Ring of Honor. Yeah, should have. That's what Mae Yang should have did tonight. You see, I got a tiny bottle today because I don't expect the show to be long today. Topo Chico does rule. Topo Chico is great. You could drink it warm and it still is good. So Roderick Strong loses. Karrion Kross vignette. Look, I'm looking forward to seeing him regain that title from Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, with all due respect, and we've talked about that before, Karrion Kross, he didn't even have a chance to really develop. He beat Keith Lee. Keith Lee was going to the main roster, and then he got injured, and title was gone. He had very little momentum, and even when he came back, that feud with Santos Escobar felt so random. Nothing against Santos Escobar. If anybody liked Lucha Underground, we appreciated that match, but it felt so random. But Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor is definitely one to look forward to. And I think Karrion Kross is going to get his share of cheers, for this match. And I'm hoping that he does regain it. But here's another thing I think people need to understand too. Who does he feud with? That's the thing. You need to have a great feud with somebody. Who does he feud with? I don't think anybody's ever thought about that. A Finn Balor rematch. I don't think that's enough. Who do you step up next to feud with Karrion Kross? By the way, for those live, let me ask you, who would you have step up? I don't know. But anyway, while you post your comments up there, I want to just do a couple of quick shout-outs, if you don't mind. Crazy Cruiserweight. He did an advanced Twitter search on QT Marshall, and the bad really outweighs the good. Look, just because you're an important executive backstage and you've been in Ring of Honor and your name has been out in Indy land, doesn't mean you should be in this high-profile stuff, especially Brandon Cutler. Another one, another buddy in the back. They're doing the first dark match. And he's teaming up with the Young Bucks again. I understand you want to give your buddies a little bit something back, but sometimes you got to be like, look, dude, you're fucking great behind the scenes, and I appreciate the school and all the people you're developing. But, for entertainment purposes, I can't fucking give you 20 minutes of time. I can't give you 5 minutes of time. You want to work on dark? Go ahead, kill yourself, do whatever you want. But putting them prime time like that, if they didn't work in the back, I don't think they would get anywhere near this time. Brandon Cutler certainly wouldn't get any, in my opinion. So, and look, it's not jealousy. 20 years ago when people used to say, oh, Don Tony, you're just jealous. All right, well, maybe then. Now, at my age, jealous of what? Jealous of going out there? What am I going to do? Walk with a walker? I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm a lot older than these guys. This is kind of depressing, but, but QT Marshall gets a majority of negative, and you got the wackos out there. I swear to God, one person last week, 20, 30,000 followers, and strong podcast. Where do I send my money? When Tony Khan played, where do I send my money? Money for what? For what? I don't know. I don't get people sometimes. Speaking of don't getting people sometimes, Ethan Kaufman doesn't understand people saying something wrong with NXT. It is a quality show and better wrestlers than AEW, and Stand and Deliver is stacked. Oh, yeah. Look, Stand and Deliver is really stacked. Something you all got to remember about ratings next Wednesday. Peacock is going to be streaming Stand and Deliver as well. So you're going to have some people watching next Wednesday through Peacock. So when those ratings come out next Wednesday and you see a dip in NXT's numbers, if there's a dip, and even if it comes back as a strong number, keep in mind that you will have some audience watching through Peacock. I know what some of you are going to say. Who would ever choose Peacock over anything else right now, especially since they're censoring stuff? Well, guess what? And I've said this before, and I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but if people out there are really upset that they can't watch Roddy Piper with half of his face black, I mean, or you can't watch the DX imitation of the Nation of Domination, and Google is not good enough, and Video Motion everywhere else, and you got to really be that upset that they've removed a few segments that for today's standards is inappropriate, there's something wrong with you. Seriously. I understand people who are upset that they don't want to be censored, period. When Donald Trump was removed from Home Alone, and when other things were being censored over the years, baby, it's cold outside, I don't care, go let me play with your hair, but baby, it's cold outside, sit on my lap, and let me give you the clap, but baby, it's cold out. There's been censoring shit. No Christmas, no this, you can't say Christmas. Now it's trickled into wrestling. What did you think they were going to do? Psst. Take a detour? No, wrestling, no. Get used to it. Get used to it. It's here to stay. If you're upset, don't watch it. Get a VPN, and this was the best. This was the best. Get a VPN and watch the WWE Network still until Lance Storm. Beauty of a tweet. Give that man credit. He reminded everyone that WWE also censored that stuff on the WWE Network recently. Get used to it. Get used to it. But I agree with you, Ethan. NXT is a quality show. They just need to go back and focus on why NXT was NXT. It became, in a lot of ways, a lot of the WWE crap you saw on TV. Lots of tournaments, lots of stipulations, lots of this. I mean, they always had stipulation tournaments, but not on the level of what they've been doing. And William Regal looks like a puppet. And I will repeat 1,000 times over, you know, it's not his fault, but this is what WWE put him in. Ethan Calvino says AEW has hokey crap. Look, I thought AEW tonight was a lot of fun. It was a hell of a lot of fun. But this cannot be the blueprint for AEW for the foreseeable future. You know, you have to have, you know, like the one thing that everybody always talked about was the quality of wrestling in AEW was going to be surpass anything that WWE puts on NXT on a regular basis. And if you just backtrack and look what you got tonight, yes, excellent match with Christian and Kazarian, but the women's tag team match was filled with interference and clusterfuck. You have Anarchy, Arcade Anarchy. You know, you have brawls and brawls and brawls and brawls and brawls and brawls. Look, that's Sue and the Caravan. It's fun. But that's got to be the special part. Man, as much as I can't stand Chuck Taylor, and Chuck Taylor just, I don't know, there's just something about him that just want to, I don't know if it's hair, his blandness. Like if I just put a picture up of Chuck Taylor with his hair combed, like he was about to go like serve coffee at Dunkin' Donuts for his real job, and I said, who that? I guarantee you about 3/4 of everybody tuning in would say, I have no idea. Or somebody may actually, you know, just baffle me and say, oh, that's the guy that serves me coffee in the morning. You know, but their match with Santana Ortiz was so memorable, and it doesn't feel as special anymore when everybody is having this crazy ass beatdowns and stuff. You know, so I don't look, some of what AEW does is hokey and some of the other federations as well. Philip Maffey, am I going to still be doing recap shows for AEW after NXT moves to Tuesdays? You must have tuned in a little bit late today because at the beginning of the show, and no problem, I don't expect everybody to be able to tune in right at the beginning. For the foreseeable future, everything is as it is. I will still be doing a show Wednesdays, and Wednesday will recap both shows. I'm not going to do a separate show for NXT right now on Tuesdays. If NXT starts getting white hot, that everybody's talking about it and everybody wants to have an immediate reaction live on Tuesdays right after it airs, yes, then I will definitely do one for Tuesday. So as of right now, everything stays the way it is. Schedule does not change for yours truly. But if enough of you want the 1 hour on Tuesday and 1 hour on Wednesday and divide it, I'll be more than happy to do that. So I'm usually home Tuesday nights, or I'm usually at the parents' house. That would actually be interesting because over there I don't have video and stuff like that, so I probably would have to set up a little studio there too, because my audio-only days on YouTube are done. I don't think it ever happened in the first place. VJ, rate the Nightmare Family from least to annoying. His list: Dog Rhodes. Oh, okay. The Dwight. Oh, speaking of dogs, I'll get back to your question in a second. Speaking of dogs, who that? Oh, that's Presley. That's Taya Valkyrie's dog. And yes, Taya Valkyrie will be debuting April 13th, which happens to be the first Tuesday, and her dog now will be called Frankie. Because Presley, I guess, I don't know, they couldn't keep the name Presley, so now the dog's going to have two names. Oh, I can't wait for her to say, Frankie, come here. And the dog doesn't acknowledge because at home it's Presley. Now, that's going to be funny. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to train the dog by understanding both names? Frankie, Presley, Frankie, Presley, Frankie. I know. Look, none against Taya Valkyrie's dog, but there'll always be one Frankie. One Frankie. Coco Bewares. Absolutely. Austin Kinkle saw Godzilla versus Kong. Wrong button. I can't shut it off. That's one sound effect I can't shut off. Look, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I am going to watch it this weekend when I go away. I'm not big into like King Kong and stuff like that. No, I actually, Austin, how was the movie? Because if any of you also out there, yes, I know, Kevin, they're laughing at me too. Trust me. When I'm in the hotel room over the weekend and I get out of the shower, I'm not going to play the soundbite again because I can't shut it off once it starts. No spoilers. Yes, no spoilers for Kong versus Godzilla or whatever. Just good or bad. I'm curious. But anyway, we have Taya Valkyrie and Frankie. But at least they spelled it with a Y at the end and not the IE. Retro Gamer, yes, I've been fully vaccinated since the middle of February. I am good to go. And my fiance had the first shot 2 weeks ago. She goes for the second shot in about 10 days. So not next weekend, the weekend after. King of Hueco Mundo. NXT fake crowd sound effects was bad. Even the people in the crowd were looking around to see who was doing the crowd. Yeah, but you want to know something? The Dexter Lumis chant tonight was from the live crowd. I like the blend. Some of the crowd noise is necessary. It creates energy. And not only that, for the wrestlers, their job is to perform in front of fans. Plain and simple. And to have that absent, it's very, very hard to get into that same frame of mind, the same vibe. Trust me, even, believe it or not, even when I do recorded shows, which don't happen often anymore, but believe me when I tell you, I do a recorded show, even like last week, Thursday and Saturday, I split up a members-only Q&A here. And because the live call thing wasn't working and there wasn't anybody live, it was at a different vibe. Just hanging out, knowing that you all are, with me right now. That's a lot of fun. It breaks up the convo a little bit. I get to see your views, right away, live on demand to see how everybody just, is feeling as far as the shows tonight and not getting it a day or two later. So I like those vibes. Absolutely like those vibes. You know what? This is a very, very smart comment. Dem and M, faction overkill. Even when WWE had lots of factions back in the day, the Nation of Domination, Los Boricuas, DX, Chains and DOA, and there were others as well. You usually only had a couple of people in it. If you got beyond 5, that would be pretty rare. Now, you know how weird it was today? You see like the Dark Order and like they're on one side, and then Matt Hardy is like involved with this person, and the Bunny is with Nyla, who is with Vicky Guerrero, who is with Matt. It just, I don't know, it gets confusing after a while. I mean, you realize that women's tag match tonight, honestly, there should have been 4 fucking people at ringside. Maybe 5 if you want to count Vicky. You add Matt Hardy, Private Party, the Butcher and the Blade, the Dark Order. There's like 20-something people at ringside. It is faction overkill. Now you got the QT Factory. Seriously? The fuck is that going to fit in? I know they want to try to get as many people on TV as possible. The Gun Club. The Gun Club, I always thought was just 2 people. Now I look at the Gun Club and it looks like a gun club. It's just, it is too much, man. It is. Faction overkill. Streamline. Too many ingredients. Spoil the soup. Right now it's okay. But telling you keep doing this, they're going to have to brawl on the top of the building. They're going to have to literally try to do something even more insane of what they're doing now. Taz and the Dark Order. Taz's Team Taz, that's another one. By the way, I got to say this really quick. Christian beat Kazarian today. Christian is trying to help up Frankie Kazarian. Probably handshake, arms in the air, sign of respect. Maybe Christian even holds the rope open for Kazarian to leave. We soak in his win. Nice vibe, feel good. We didn't get any of that. Soon as this motherfucker pinned Frankie Kazarian, and he bent down to see if Frankie Kazarian's okay, Tony Schiavone, let's go to Sting and Darby Allin. Tony Khan, wait 30 fucking seconds. Let everybody soak in. This is Christian's first wrestling match one-on-one. In how many years? He wins. It's emotional. They've brawled in the past. He had a great match. We're all enjoying it. Feels good to see him back. And before we could even let that vibe, let's go to Sting and Darby Allin. I thought that was stupid. Tony Khan, stop with the fucking rushing stuff. And trust me, I know I'm not alone on this one. Little things like that piss me off. So anyway, getting back to VJ before. I didn't forget about you, buddy. Rate the Nightmare Family from least annoying to the most. You got the dog, Baby Rhodes. Well, baby's a baby. So Baby Rhodes would be my least annoying. The dog would also be least annoying. They're not on my television. Let's get to the ones that could be. Dustin, Who Dat, Cody, Justin Roberts. I don't know why Justin Roberts is in there. And way down, his list from least. You know what? My list is pretty close. His list from least annoying to most annoying. Dog Rhodes, Baby Rhodes, Dustin, Who Dat, Cody, Justin Roberts, and Brandy. For me, out of that whole list, Who Dat is my most annoying. Then I would go with, I've warmed up on Justin Roberts a little bit, but I don't know. Some of his interviews, so it's like, I don't know. Where's that pillowcase? I got to get a Justin Roberts pillowcase just so I could tear it apart on the show. I'll put him next. Then I'll put Dustin and Brandy and Cody. Brandy, I'm not as, annoyed with anymore because she is off TV. And motherhood is not temporary. She's going to be tending to her kids. She has more than one also. So, her time between TV and family life is going to be split a little bit. And like I said last week, I have no problem with them doing a reality show. If people aren't interested in seeing, don't watch it. But I think that there's going to be enough people that are going to want to tune in and see that. Dream 101, name time that I got pissed off and snapped. Whew. Are you talking like on shows? I don't really get pissed off on shows. I mean, if you want me to say real life, I used to be bad with road rage. I'd have road rage incidents. I get out of the car. What are you, fucking stupid? You almost fucking killed me over there. And you know why? Because when I had my car accident in 96, it almost killed me. Like, I am always afraid when somebody drives stupid, I don't want to be in that situation again. Because the next time around, I think it'll kill me. I know, random question from Dream 101, but he's a Dream fan, so I will always ask his questions. Big T says, Tony Schiavone seems like he feels as if it's still in WCW, just rushing it. It's not his fault, man. They're in his ear to go to the next segment. That's what the producers are doing. Next segment. Plug it. Next segment. They want to fit it in before commercial breaks. They're trying to squeeze in too much. My God, you just got Elevation. Monday nights, Dark Elevation. If something really, really good airs on Elevation that should leak over to TV, that's different. But they are forcing way too much stuff. Look, Red Velvet. All right, we already know Red Velvet is feuding with Jade Cargill. We don't need, even though I enjoyed it, Jade Cargill. Money. She is money. She is going to be a big star. We don't need her segment. And then we don't need Red Velvet coming to the rescue, which really wasn't, and then a backstage promo, and then a kick. And that's, even though that doesn't sound like much, that's 2 minutes that could have been used towards Christian, soaking in a little bit. Let's see the fans in the audience clapping and cheering. Let's see the AEW stars at ringside clapping and cheering. The guy just had his first comeback match. My God, this was an earth-shattering, huge announcement on a pay-per-view. And then today, it's just like matter of fact, it's good as Sting and Darby Allin. They got to manage their time. And look, they're still a new promotion. So they will improve over time. I truly believe that. Havili. Okay, Balor versus Walter or Cross versus Walter? Well, Walter is still the NXT UK champion. So, I don't expect that to keep intertwining. But if you ask me which match I would prefer to see, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather see Finn Balor versus Walter. Only because Karrion Kross's style is more of brawl, street brawl. And yes, I know Walter with his chops and everything, but I think Finn Balor with that European style would really mesh better with Walter. I think that would be freaking phenomenal. I have to start really thinking about who could be money with Karrion Kross, especially if he wins that championship. Who is money with Karrion Kross? I think that's something, I'll repeat what I said before, that a lot of people haven't stopped and thought about. Crazy Cruiserweight, thoughts on Impact Wrestling having 38,000 viewers last night on Access TV? I got to go check that out. I usually have all three ratings on Thursday night. I get the quarter-hour ratings on Thursday night as well, but I don't talk about them until Friday. You know what? Maybe if I get it early enough tomorrow, maybe I will do the quarter-hour ratings tomorrow, since I'm not doing the show Friday. But as far as Impact only doing 38,000, I would be a little skeptical with that right now. I don't picture them losing 80% of their viewers last night. You tell me that in 2 weeks, yeah, but they're moving to Thursdays. I do not buy the 38,000. I don't listen. If I think everybody notices that I don't pay attention to a lot of the bullshit that's reported online. And the latest one that I laughed my ass off, all these goofs that were saying that Charlie Caruso had heat because she liked DP, Damian Priest. And people were saying, oh, that was the reason, and she showed up late and this and that. And I said 2 weeks ago that none of that was true. There was some issues with the contract. She came out today in an interview and said her contract was coming up and she didn't renew. No heat, no issues, no DP stuff, nothing. And all of these goofs bullshitted you again. So Impact's rating, I'll double check it, but chances are there is something incorrect with that. I don't see Impact only doing 38,000 viewers. Don't. VJ says all Hardy family members could leave AEW and it wouldn't matter. Do you know, I think this week was the 1 year anniversary of Matt Hardy appearing. I think it's right around a year ago that Matt Hardy made his debut. I tell you, when you look at it over a year, feuding that Stadium Stampede, which was great. The stuff he did with Sammy Guevara, memorable, but in a lot of ways for the wrong reasons. I think once that match happened, I think there was a shift as far as how he was going to have the rest of his career. I think, seriously, I don't know what goes on in their private lives, and I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with Tony Khan and meetings and stuff, but ever since that match that Matt Hardy had with Guevara, it almost feels like there was a serious talk in the Hardy family that this shit's over. No more. Or, very rare. Like Matt Hardy going balls out like that. Look at his match with Hangman Page. His match with Hangman Page, I don't even think would have really been a main event on a Dynamite the way it came across. Matt Hardy has scaled it back, but you want to know something? That's a good thing because now he gets to help elevate the people around him. The Butcher and the Blade, even though it feels like it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, they were starting to really, become irrelevant, if you think about it. And, they didn't want to turn him babyface, so they put him with Matt Hardy. It's just, and I think also with the Dark Order, after Brody's passing, and I've been saying this for months and months and months, the Dark Order turned from a cult into a fraternity. And when you see all the backstage skits, especially after Brody passed, and you see all those outtakes and everybody laughing, everybody just goofing on each other, how could you hate that? I mean, even if Brody Lee didn't pass, and Being the Elite still put out that special episode, I think people would have a hell of a hard time disliking the Dark Order. So with that faction pretty much turning babyface, even though, last week with the Darby Allin match, it just, with John Silver, it felt like there was still heels, but they're not. So anyway, let's fill in some blanks because believe it or not, kiddos, we've already run almost an hour. I kid you not. So Darby Allin video segment after Christian's win, addressing Matt Hardy. I guess we're going to have a Matt Hardy, Darby Allin little mini feud. See where it goes. And, Darby Allin's basically saying that he doesn't need Matt Hardy's money. And he's got like a cutout of Matt Hardy's face and he's got fire around it. And he says Matt Hardy's money means shit to him. So even though this didn't make TV, Matt Hardy wrote on social media tonight, "You don't mean shit to me, Darby. Without me, there's no Darby Allin. You'll learn the hard way just how extreme Big Money Matt can still be. What's yours will still be mine." And he's talking about the TNT Championship. So, looks like we will get that. I have no problems with it. Like I said, I think Matt Hardy now is focused on, trying to help bring up some of the young talent. And that's a good thing. like I said, even though a lot of people like to make jokes about Paul White signing there, and Matt Hardy signing there, and Christian signing there, and Miro signing there, out of those four, Miro's the only one that I don't feel like is there to help elevate the young talent. Matt Hardy, believe me when I tell you, is really helping those young stars of AEW behind the scenes. Paul White, people picking his brain all day long, talking to him ideas. Could you watch my match? Could you see this? Could you see that? You need veterans like that. You have veterans also, Arn Anderson and others, but a lot of them, the perception is that, you know, they go home after their work is done. So, you know, I don't have too much of a problem with it. So we get the match, Cody versus QT Marshall. And I thought it was stupid from the beginning. You know, Cody refusing to put moves on QT Marshall is just asinine. Because Cody, when he was TNT champion, had open challenges, fought friends, and, you know, playing off that QT is his best friend and focusing on, you know, this is leading towards something else. And I just laughed that people thought that QT Marshall turned heel tonight. This guy turned heel a while ago. I don't know why people focused only on tonight. But the match, I guess, ended in a no contest. Even though it was an unsanctioned match, it ended in a no contest. QT Marshall punched out Arn Anderson. Whole Nightmare family, all 38 of them, they're all at ringside tending Arn Anderson. And the next thing you know, you got all of QT Marshall's students. Anthony Ogogo, Nick Camarado, Aaron Solo. They hit the ring. They start beating up on the Nightmare Factory. And QT Marshall is looking at this. And again, this is the producer shit. This is the favoritism. They had to keep zooming in on QT Marshall's face. Not just from far away, but we had to see like 10 times. Go back and watch that. I mean, it's just, I'm watching this, I'm saying to myself, why? Why? Do that on Dark. Seriously. Don't do that on Dynamite. Oh my God, now then, oh my God, Dustin and Cody and Lee Johnson and the Gun Club, they're now going to feud with Anthony Ogogo. Pick me up before Ogogo. You know, Nick Camarado. Pick me up, Camarado. Aaron Solo. What is this, fucking rhyme time? Ogogo, Camarado, Solo. Who that? Awful, 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 awful. Red Velvet comes to the rescue of Cody. She's just looking over him. Can somebody get help? She was so concerned. She was backstage to be interviewed by Dasha, whatever they're calling her last name, Fuentes. She was tending to, we get it correct, ran to the back. Why you help them? They're still at ringside being carried out. She ran to the back for the interview segment just to get attacked by Jade. So, VJ is saying, if VJ sends me a Gilbert cameo, would I play it here? Sure. Absolutely. I've had a bunch of you over the last year or so saying, dude, I want to send a cameo for the show. Absolutely. If anybody wants to do it, I'd be honored to play them here. What I won't do, like other shows out there, is I won't crop it so you don't see the word cameo on the bottom, because some shows, look, they're cute. Let's be honest, they're cute. But have you seen this? Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart, and you're tuning in to one of my favorite shows out there, the blah, 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 blah podcast. Meanwhile, it was a paid cameo, and they cut it out to make it seem like Bret Hart is legit a fan. Hey. Look, I put anybody on there. Seriously, Jim Cornette. Look, at the end of the day, you know what? All right, I'm going to piss off people. I even don't have a problem with this guy. I'm sure you all heard about this. Austin Aries. He is off Twitter. Now, let me be honest with you. I'll put that back up for a second. Let me be honest with you. Austin Aries, I bit my tongue with about a month ago because he did an autograph signing here in my neck of the woods, only about a half hour away. I was invited to go. And I don't remember what I was doing that day, but I really couldn't go. And he was telling fans, look, if you're going to come up to me and take pictures, don't wear a mask. All right? He got a lot of heat on social media with that. And I know a lot of you know this story. But let me remind everyone out there one other thing about that day. And if you think I'm lying, go back and watch it. It wasn't just him there. Sandman was there. Shane Douglas was there. A bunch of stars were there. And I saw all those other wrestlers taking loads of pictures with fans. No masks. So I know Austin Aries was the Jesus Christ being crucified for the no mask thing. But keep in mind, all the other wrestlers there, they took a lot of pictures without masks. It was optional. A lot of fans chose not to wear masks. So let's not, focus only on Austin Aries here. All right? So that's why I never brought that up. But I will say this. I think Austin Aries is absolutely stupid for writing this earlier today. I personally know more people who have died after taking the vaccine than this entire pandemic getting the virus itself. All right? All right. Now, if you read that detailed, I guess he's trying to say he knows more people personally that have died from taking the vaccine than people he knows personally that died from the virus. All right, that could apply to anybody out there. But, we know Austin Aries' view about masks and New World Order and stuff like that. My God, I respect anybody's opinions out there. But for this guy to say something so ignorant, he deserves the criticism he gets. Now, I will also say this. I saw some very high-profile blue check marks today bragging that they ran Austin Aries off of Twitter. If I could do it and not get flagged from YouTube, I swear on my mother that I would turn around right now and pull my pants down and moon you to your face. I know it's nothing. My ass is probably fat anyway. But any grown adult that takes pride of chasing people off of social media are, to me, probably some of the lowest. You're just as bad as the dopey shit that he said. People out there that are upset about, think about this for a minute, they're upset about Peacock censoring WWE stuff, but then are ecstatic that they're chasing people off of Twitter. I live in a country with free speech, and it's also speech that you don't like. I don't dislike Austin Aries, but his view on masks is totally against me. I'm fully vaccinated for a month and a half. My second shot was February 18th. So my Freedom Day was like March 1st. I'm vaccinated. I'm clear. I have not changed one thing about me. I wear masks every day. I sanitize, I wash my hands, and I social distance. Why do I do all that? Even when I have people that come into my office who are fully vaccinated. I don't turn around and go, woo, take the mask off, we're good. Oh, well, you're vaccinated too, woo. No, because I do it out of respect. Because when I walk into a post office or walk into a grocery store or walk into a bank or walk into an area, or even if I'm walking down the street, if I don't have plastered to my forehead and a big sign, I'm vaccinated, the people around me don't know the deal. They don't know if I'm vaccinated. They don't know if I'm sick. They don't know nothing. So knowing that someone next to me has a mask on gives peace of mind that there's some protection here. That's the thing. I know when I said in March of last year that we need cards to show we're vaccinated, remember that in March of last year? A lot of you, with all due respect, ripped the shit out of me for that comment. Austin Aries should shut up. Said shut up. Show a little respect. You don't believe in masks? Fine. I can respect your view. But to turn around and say stupid shit like that, You're just asking for it because there's a lot of losers on social media that'll play the game. And now he suspends his Twitter account because he doesn't want the backlash of what he said. And people are happy about that. Go fuck yourself. All those people that are ecstatic that they chased him off of Twitter, go fuck yourself. Just my opinion. Jon Moxley versus Cezar Bononi. I don't know, man. I'm going to say something I might regret. I tell you like it is. And if this upsets anybody out there, so be it. So be it. I don't mean to get really raw and personal right now, but I got home today early because of the injury I got Monday, spraining my ankle really bad. Got home early, put ice on it, going through the TV. Put on HLN. Day 3 of the Derek Chauvin trial, police officer that killed George Floyd. And today they brought someone on the stand who works for the Minneapolis PD. And he's an expert with body cams and footage and this and that. And I don't know if any of you out there watched it today. And if you feel the same way I did today, speak up so I don't feel so awkward right now. But I watched 4 different body cam views of what happened to this guy. Now, I've seen the cell phone footage, and I've seen some of the stuff. And I usually keep social issues and politics off of the wrestling shows, unless it really needs to be mentioned, or if Thursday nights, because Thursday nights we have a totally different vibe. But I got to be honest with you. At 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, watching 3 different camera angles, and the only reason why the 4th one you didn't see was because the body cam happened to fall under the cop car. And I'm watching 3 different views of this guy pretty much choked to death. I got extremely, extremely sad. And it's one of those things when you watch it, and it's almost like watching a movie that you hope there's an alternate ending. I don't know if anybody knows what I mean by that. You watch it the first time, and I've seen it before, but you watch it the first time today, and it just rehashes how awful I felt last year. And I'm not even black. I'm not even profiled. Can you imagine how everybody else feels? And then I watch it in another body cam, and I keep seeing the same thing, and I'm saying to myself, man, please let there be an alternate ending. You know, just show some compassion. You know, show that you give a shit. Even if somebody commits a crime, show one of the officers like, dude, we got to call an ambulance. And I see it 3 times, and it upset me more and more and more. And I'm sorry for saying this, but when that hits you like a punch to the face today, and they got to know that this was the major focus of the trial today, and to see Jon Moxley 2 hours late, it's not his fault. It was a pre-recorded promo. But to see Jon Moxley say that, you know, I'm going to choke you out until you're unconscious. I'm not trying to be like one of these Bruce Mitchells, you know, over dramatic or anything like that. And trust me, AEW did nothing wrong. Did nothing wrong. But I watched that with him and Cezar Bononi, and I was like, you know, not tonight. Not tonight. Eat boogers, if that's how you feel, eat boogers, that's your prerogative, man. If you're doing it to troll, you know, you're in the wrong place. But I don't know if anybody else out there felt like that today. But, you know, today was not the day that I wanted to see something in wrestling where somebody tells me I'm going to choke you out until you're unconscious. Sorry. Real life kind of gets in the way sometimes. And I really could not get into that at all today. Just being honest. Now, let's get back to the wrestling, but I will say one last thing because I brought up the topic. For everybody out there that thinks what I think should happen in this trial, I think he should get second or third degree murder. I've said this since the tragedy happened. That guy came across, there are some cops out there. I have friends of mine, I have relatives that are cops. And, you know, majority of officers want to make their communities a better place. There are some officers out there that think their shit don't stink. They think because they have the badge that they are more powerful than you. And if you stroke their ego, they will just rub it in your face even more. And when you had that one body cam where they're focused on the people saying, check his pulse, he's unconscious, he can't move, put him in the car, there's no, and it almost, if you look, it almost feels like this guy is digging that knee just a little bit more, like, oh, you think I should stop? And he didn't. And it kept going and going and going. That guy just needs to go to jail. 15, 20, 25 years. I don't give a shit. No excuse for it. No excuse for it. I am huge on law and order, and I believe everybody should respect the police, but I also believe that there are officers that let the power go to their head. Trust me. And it's no comparison. Nothing could compare to what happened to that man. But I remember, and I've told stories before, going to clubs in the late 80s, early 90s with my friends, and you get a couple of people in the neighborhood were just a drop bit older than us, and they were a couple of cops, and because they were cops, they thought that they could say what they want, push their shit around, and, you know, fuck around with people. What are you going to do? Punch a cop? Even if they're off duty? So that was just rough to see today. And to see that on AEW after, I just thought was inappropriate. You know what's good comparison? Remember we had a bad hurricane. Does anybody remember what hurricane it was? And then WWE kind of like toned back a little bit Hurricane Helms on TV. Because I remember at that time people like WWE scaled back a little bit of the appearance of hurricane because they didn't want it. Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. Believe it, that happened back then. That legitimately happened back then. I don't remember what hurricane it was. But here's another one. You'll all remember this. You will all remember this. After 9/11, what song did WWE stop playing? You know what? Shirt. First person that gets it right, and I know somebody will get it right like this. What song did WWE stop playing right after 9/11 because they thought it was a little too sensitive? Let's see. Well, let's see. That's the benefits of tuning in live. And what song was it? First person that gets it right. And look, no, break the walls down. No. Oh, there you go. The W got it. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. WWE stopped playing that song because of 9/11. So believe it or not, I tell you, little things like that, I don't know. That's how I felt tonight. Just being honest. So Moxley does what he said he was going to do to Cezar Bononi. Match went a lot longer than I thought. So W, email me, dontony@dontony.com if you want me to hook you up with a shirt, any promotion, any podcast, your choice, my friend. MJF's gift to the Pinnacle. By far my favorite segment of the entire night, both shows. MJF is with the Pinnacle. He got an interior decorator to decorate the locker room, the bathroom. This is obviously pre-recorded. He opens the door. You got a whole bunch of members of the inner circle by the bathroom. Closes the door, goes to the other door, opens it up. Here's Jake Hager, punch to the face. And It was a wild, flat-out brawl. It was amazing. You know what I loved about it? And I know some of you out there pointed this out too. You didn't have 2,000 camera shots like WWE does repeatedly on Raw and SmackDown. All these crazy camera angles. Too much, where your head is spinning sometimes. They recorded one segment, Guevara brawling with Shawn Spears. Another segment, Santana Ortiz brawling with FTR. Dumping one of them in an little ice bath. You have Jericho brawling with MJF at one point, smashing his head through an empty Pepsi vending machine. And I loved that it was plugged in for the extra visual. It was awesome, man. Putting MJF's face in the toilet. Jake Hager putting Wardlow through a table with two AEW officials in the back. Everything about that segment was beautiful. For some reason, I want to see MJF and Guevara go at it a little bit more. But because MJF and Jericho, remember the Dinner Debonair, obviously that has to be the feud for now. So Guevara has to play with someone. So Guevara plays with Spears. Unfortunately, Tully doesn't have anybody to play with. But franchise says it wasn't empty. Well, if you're talking about the Pepsi, the vending machine, a majority of it was empty. I mean, you don't want him to accidentally, most of it was empty. By the way, when Miro with that video game towards the very end, picking it up, all that was a whole bunch of cardboard put together, taped over to look like a video game. Arcade Anarchy. And that was fun too. It had a couple of its corny moments. I mean, explain to me why Chris Statlander has anything to do with the Best Friends. I understand, she's got a little history with Penelope Ford, but, that was okay, I guess. But the Inner Circle beating the balls off the Pinnacle was easily my favorite part of the night. It was great. They return next week. And, let's also be honest about something here. AEW's got a little problem. I don't know if anybody has really thought about it. Let's look at that again. Santana and Ortiz versus FTR, one match. Hager versus Wardlow, match 2. Jericho versus MJF, match 3. Guevara versus Shawn Spears, match 4. You're going to push that many people feuding with each other that quickly. You can't wait 2-3 weeks to have one person go after the other. You just filled up half your night with those matches. Are we going to have a special night, the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle? Maybe that's what's needed. I don't know. And yes, you know what, really, we still have a little bit unfinished business with Mike Tyson. We don't know what happens with that. That's a good point. He says, no pandemic, would we have Chris Jericho versus Mike Tyson instead? Excellent, funny series of matches with Orange Cassidy. Look, it was designed to help elevate Orange Cassidy. It's nice on his resume to have some W's against some very high-profile stars. So absolutely. Look, this is the time you got to focus on bringing people up, but you see that's a dilemma. There's 4 matches right there. Yeah, Duke, I don't think it's a bad idea. The Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. In fact, the more I think about it, they should. Too bad we're not in the era anymore with DVDs, because you would have like Austin versus McMahon, and yes, I know that is much more detailed and epic, but you would have a DVD that would run 90 minutes long. That would be like this versus this. I could see them doing something, setting up, the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. I think you'd have enough moments to make a DVD just for that, but they don't really do DVDs anymore. Young Bucks managed to have an interview with Alex Marvez. It felt like a repeat of next week. Interrupted by Don Callis. Don Callis gets in Matt's face, and he brings up Omega, and, Matt Jackson broke Kenny Omega's heart, and he's trying to get Matt Jackson pissed off, that New Japan Young Bucks that he wanted, and Don Callis smacks Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson pretty much grabs him and then does nothing. And Don Callis is like, really? Really? You make me sick. Just felt like same from last week. Great match. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers beating, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. I almost got my brothers mixed up. Lots of brothers. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers over the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid is awesome. Of course, he eats more pins, obviously, but I really like Laredo Kid. And I tell you, you think of the Death Triangle, you think of Jon Moxley teaming with the Young Bucks, not on a regular basis. You think of Cutlet teaming up with the Young Bucks also. You think of the Lucha Bros teaming up with Laredo Kid. You think of Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Are we going to lead to a trios title? I mean, is that possibly going to happen? Because it feels like with AEW really focused on putting so many people on TV, maybe you need a trios title. I don't know what you all think about that. I mean, look, we could keep going. You could use 3 members of Team Taz. And by the way, Team Taz, another segment, teasing that Brian Cage is not really happy. But Taz, is still trying to convince us that everything is fine in Team Taz's camp, which it's not. I tell you, I called the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions a while ago. I'll say the same thing here. I think AEW should consider some trios titles. And guess what? Maybe you could even have some international fun and bring up some wrestlers, maybe from Mexico, from Japan, and have some trios tournaments. I think that would be good. And you know what? I know there's too many belts in wrestling, so you don't even need to say it to me. I agree with you. But that's not going to change. It's not going to change. So maybe you have something for these people to gun for. Because look at Best Friends now. The stuff with Miro and Kip Sabian is pretty much going to be done. What are they going to do next? Who are they going to feud with next? It's going to be random. It's going to feel random. So we'll see. We'll see. But Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, they beat the Lucha Bros. Kenny Omega with the V-trigger on the Laredo Kid and the One Wing Angel. After the match is over, Moxley comes out, little stare down, but he is backed up with the Young Bucks. And next week, pay-per-view quality match. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks. So something to look forward to. This is something I think we've seen brewing for a while. It'll be interesting to see what the Young Bucks do in that match. Because this Don Callis stuff is leading to something. So we'll see what happens. Hikaru Shida and Ty Conti, they lose to Nyla Rose and the Bunny. AEW kept advertising her as Allie all week, and then they announced her as the Bunny. Not even on the same page. Vicky Guerrero with a little distraction. The Bunny lands a finisher on Ty Conti, gets the pin. And as I said before, there's like 20-something people around ringside. You got the Dark Order, the Butcher, the Blade, Private Party, Matt Hardy, Vicky Guerrero. It's just on and on and on and on. It just, I don't know. It just felt like a hot mess. I mean, don't get me wrong. All the women in the match did fine. But I focus on Hikaru Shida's title reign. Anyone out there have the guts to say it's been a fucking joke? It's been a joke. I mean, it seems like they're moving towards Ty Conti versus Shida. But still, I mean, look at her reign since winning that title. That is terrible. That is terrible. And you see the Japanese influence, the other wrestlers, that kind of moved away, so they can't keep it. That's what happens when you're trying to put too many people out on TV. You inadvertently make people disappear for 2-3 weeks, and it just ruins momentum. Maki Ito, I know they weren't going to keep her around that long, and she's not great in the ring, but because of all the shit that they throw on TV, some people, they get forgotten. And next thing you know, they'll be back in Japan. That'll be it. Main event, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy beat Miro and Kip Sabian in the Arcade Anarchy. Basically, they had video game stuff around ringside, things you would find in a game room. It's not just video games, but they I think they had like that little hockey game where, with the puck that you go back and forth, air hockey, I think it might be. Yeah, Harris brings up Rio. Rio's another one. It's nice to see her back, and, they just have a hard time putting people on. I mean, look at even Serena Deeb, Thunder Rosa. I mean, I understand, the brawl with Britt Baker, but look, they can't even figure out time for Britt Baker now after that match. Worst thing they did, have her come out and cut that promo the following week with no bandages or nothing. If she sold that it was an outright brawl and a bloodbath, taking a week or two off would be fine. But they had to make sure that the makeup was perfect and the hair was perfect, and it's gone. Serena's hurt, Mr. Mike. Explain to me the last 3-4 months. Explain it to me. It's not just 1 week. Anybody could leave after 1 week, but this has been a long time. But look, the Arcade Anarchy was fun. They used kendo sticks. They used a lot of weapons. They used was supposed to be video games, but again, it was just cardboard cutouts. They had a whack-a-mole game that was funny. The only thing that I thought was stupid about it, and look, I understand headshots. You really don't want to do that anymore. My God, Orange Cassidy had one of those extremely light garbage can lids, and Miro was putting his hands up for every shot. And if any of you out there ever go to a Home Depot and you see those metal garbage cans, pick one up. They are so light. They make a loud noise, but they don't hurt for the most part at all. I've been hit with them in matches. They don't hurt at all. Maybe you're afraid of an errant piece of metal or something, but still, put his hands up every time for every one of those shots. But the thing that I thought was corny was they're the whack-a-mole game. If you've ever been to an amusement park, the whack-a-mole, the thing comes up and you got to hit it, thing keeps popping up and you got to try to hit it and get points. Kip Sabian is laid out on top of the whack-a-mole and Orange Cassidy is hitting him in the back. That's not how the whack-a-mole works. You got to pop him in the head. Pop him in the head. Get a light foam one. Get a prop. But to see Orange Cassidy intentionally hitting his back, I thought it was kind of stupid. The hammer. They could get on Amazon a foam hammer that you could add a little bit to it to make it not fall apart and not hurt at all. It was just, I don't know. They should have called it back-a-mole. Instead of whack-a-mole, back-a-mole. But the match was still fun. But Miro and Kip Sabian, we had some tables used. They had some stuffed animals. In fact, at one point, and it's funny that we just finished talking about Legos last week. One point, Chuck Taylor brings in a stuffed animal in the ring, opens the back, dumps it. It's all Legos. Kip Sabian powerbombs him through Legos. I admire his toughness, but I still don't like Chuck Taylor. Something about him, I don't know, too generic, in my opinion, as far as look. But then there was one weird point that was set up for the caravan moment. But why would Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor be, walking on their knees trying to leave the arena going up a driveway? I mean, watching the baby faces do that was kind of stupid. But here comes a caravan, And it's Trent's mom, Sue. She's got Trent in the back. Trent comes out. He's ready to return. And he starts brawling with them. And, it was a lot of fun. They had one point where it looked like it was designed to be a crane game, but it was just like a big box filled with plush toys. And I think Penelope Ford was going to whip Orange Cassidy with the strap. And here pops up Chris Statlander out of the box, and she starts brawling a little bit with Penelope Ford. It's nice to see Chris Statlander back. She had that major knee surgery not too long ago. But Hueco Mundo, Chuck Taylor, I know we have said he looks like an old school AJ Styles, with the hair. And remember when AJ Styles had that disheveled storyline in TNA? It almost reminds me of a wannabe AJ Styles a little bit with the hair. I don't know. I mean, it just looks too generic. He doesn't again, I like wrestlers. If you saw them walking down the street, you might, he looks like a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's just too generic of a look. Dad bod AJ Styles, that's not bad, Kevin Milwaukee. That's not bad. Orange Cassidy, I think, could be a champion before 2021 is over. I think AEW's done a good job keeping him in the back pocket a little bit because he's designed more for live fans and not just 800 people in attendance. We start getting back to bigger crowds, you'll see his push get much more relevant. But the match was a lot of fun, and in the end, you have Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor win. Trent Beretta with the assist as well. Chris Statlander returns, and we'll see where it goes from here. I thought it was a fun show. I like, clusterfucks and brawls and a lot of chaos. But I don't want that to be the norm. Because if that's the norm, a lot of it feels very random. But for tonight, though, I thought it was a fun show. Now, let's fill in the blanks a little bit with NXT. And, obviously NXT tonight is designed. Oh, let me bring this up, too. Next week, I already mentioned Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks taking on Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Next week, we're going to have the Bunny versus Ty Conti. Okay. Darby Allin defending the TNT Championship versus JD Drake. Okay. I actually would be interested in that one, even though we know the outcome. I mean, but if you're not familiar with JD Drake, I think you'll enjoy the match. The Inner Circle are going to return next week. They'll be cutting a promo. And Jurassic Express versus Bear Country. No disrespect to Bear Country, but I have no interest in seeing Jurassic Express taking on Bear Country on Dynamite. There's so much more going on. I don't think that's necessary. You got AEW Elevation. Put that shit on Elevation. Put that as a main event on Elevation. I just feel there's too many other things going on right now. Good question. Do I think Max Caster is going to be a champ in 2021? You know what? I have gave praise to the Acclaimed since day one. If you think I'm kidding, just go back to the day they debuted and check out my thoughts on the episode. I like the Acclaim very much. Do I think he will have a title in 2021? Boy, that's kind of hard to see. I could see them possibly getting tag titles, but right now, I just don't see how they leapfrog so many other teams that are getting play right now. So I say as of right now, I'd be surprised, but I would love it. I think the Acclaim definitely are on path to gold. But right now, I have to tell you, I don't see it, to be honest with you. Heavy Elite Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle Blood and Guts match? Oh, yeah. Definitely think that would be great. Look, you see the power of not only cinematic matches, but the power of pre-record. They did excellent tonight. And they didn't need 1,000 different camera angles, too. You record it in segments, you put it together, splice it together. Beautiful masterpiece. Definitely love that. So getting back to NXT, we had, it was an interesting night. Like I said, you had Roderick Strong and Cameron Grimes open up, and that went on for like 20 minutes. Between the introductions and the very end, that went on for about 20 minutes. Now, it's 1/6 of the show, just like that. And we already discussed what happened earlier. You know, my hands are still hurting from ripping that pillowcase apart. Hopefully I didn't upset anybody out there, but, you know, just lighthearted fun. My God, I put an X on a logo last year because I was putting X's for retribution, like Xing stuff out. I put an X over the logo because there was no show that day. And you'd see people getting upset at that. Like, you got to sometimes, like, be careful. Like, my God, don't take stuff too seriously. But Cameron Grimes beats Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong is so distraught about seeing an armband that he loses and also decides he's not going to fight in the Battle Royal. He's leaving. We had video packages by Walter, Tommaso Ciampa. That is a match I'm looking forward to seeing. Walter is, I'm telling you, man, that guy is so intimidating. And trust me, we're going to see a lot of crazy-ass chops next week. So I have the updated cards, by the way. And like I said, maybe we'll do predictions Tuesday. We'll figure something out. Santos Escobar cutting a promo about his match with Jordan Devlin, puts an open challenge out there, and Tyler Breeze accepts. You know, I hate to say it, but WWE has done a piss-poor job with Breezango and NXT. They generate some of the lowest ratings as well. The bloom is off the rose. When fans realize that NXT and WWE have no intentions on pushing Breezango in any way, shape, or form, having them in matches, tag or single, fans are going to be like, I'm not invested in this. So, you know, we had a decent match, but again, eating up time. Santos Escobar wins. We have Legado del Fantasma out there. They're confronted by MSK. And then on the video screen, the Grizzled Young Veterans cutting their promo. They're going to be the tag champs next week. And I think they will. I think the Grizzled Young Veterans will win the gold. As of right now, that's who I'm sticking with. But you go back and watch the Veterans promo tonight, it almost felt like they stopped in mid-sentence. They said something, and then the music hit, and I'm like, oh, that's it? I thought it fell really flat. We had a couple of times during the night of Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez brawling in the back. And at one point, Raquel Gonzalez, and you could see what they did. They had like a room, and they had two like glass windows in the room. They removed the glass windows, and they put like sheetrock over it, and they painted it to make it similar to the room. So Raquel Gonzalez puts Io Shirai through one of the windows, quote unquote. It looked great visual, but you could see that that's what they did. And at the very end of the show, after the Battle Royal, just when we think we're going off the air, Io Shirai comes out to close out the show, calls out Raquel Gonzalez. They have a huge brawl. All the women come out trying to break it up just to get piled on. And I tell you, NXT is doing a great job building Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez. Definitely looking forward to that. I mean, everything they did today was really good setting up that match. So glad to see Raquel Gonzalez and how much she's improved over the last 9 months. And we've all seen it in real time, and that's what makes it even better. Funny segment, Johnny Gargano is in the back with the Way, and Gargano's a little upset that Austin Theory is in the Battle Royal. And Austin Theory's like, don't you remember the finger poke of doom? And Johnny Gargano's like, well, that killed the business. And Austin Theory's like, but we're still here. And Gargano's like, yeah, you're right. And Gargano thinks that Austin Theory could win the Battle Royal, become the #1 contender, and do the finger poke of doom. So that's what we have possibly in our minds going into the Battle Royal later on. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, they beat Gigi Dolan and Zeta Ramir. Pretty much a squash. I think we talked about it last week that it was going to be Shotzi and Ember Moon versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell at TakeOver, and they solidified that tonight. They issued the challenge. Ember Moon and Shotzi accept. They came out with the tank, shot the Nerf, and the match is on at TakeOver. So, decent match to look forward to. Like I said, I'll keep my predictions for next week. But look, you could see now NXT focusing on a lot of women's tag matches, even though we didn't get Mei Ying actually wrestle. It was supposed to be Mei Ying and Xia Li versus Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Xia Li hits the ring. Mei Ying is in the back with Boa. And, it's pretty much a 2-on-1 until Kaden Carter walks up the rampway, trying to get Mei Ying to go in the ring. And then, as I said earlier, we find out that Mei Ying likes to vape because she puts, I call it the Vulcan death grip. Just like I said earlier, with Star Trek, you do it and it's like, ding. That's what Star Trek used to be with Spock. Ding. With Mei Ying, the effects are more torturous. And then, I don't know, man. I love the Tian Sha stuff. We have praised Xia Li's development. All the vignettes, everything has been excellent. But watching Mei Ying, blowing vape in her face, I laughed. I know the dragon breath. I know it's supposed to be like death breath. Death breath. That would be a nice, that's kind of what happens to me when I wake up in the morning on keto. I have death breath. Seriously. I got to do that one day. I got to take my phone like a selfie and go like this. And when my significant other wakes up, I'm going to do it. I'm serious. Maybe I will do that next week, just for a laugh. When she wakes up, I will grab my phone for all of you, and I'll record a little video. And when she looks over to me to say good morning, I'll do the Mei Ying, and I'll go, she doesn't watch NXT every week. I guarantee you she has no idea what happened today. She'd be like, oof, what the fuck is up with that breath? I'm going to do it, man. Stony Loney. What's up? Stony Loney. Just supporting the channel, supporting the Donzilla Army. Much love, my friend. I hope you're having a good night. And all the best, my friend. Thank you. Much love. I hope you're around tomorrow. I think tomorrow's going to be fun. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I'm going to have time to put together any Don Tony indie wrestling stuff because, I'm literally going away for a mini vacation either late Thursday night or early Friday morning. So I definitely want to be done tomorrow within an hour to an hour and a half at the most. So we may have to hold off. I mean, I don't want to, put everything out there so soon. We got to milk this a little bit. There's a lot of people that are only seeing some of that indie wrestling stuff now. And we've been showing it for 2 months, that long. But thank you, Sony Loney. And remember, tomorrow we'll give away the Karrion Kross Scarlet dual sign photo and cash. So we'll have 2 contests tomorrow. And remember that the hint for the contest, it'll be who dat. I'm going to show you a picture of somebody that's currently wrestling on one of the promotions, AEW, WWE, NXT, Impact, MLW. Yeah, we don't need to even MLW. We'll just leave it to WWE, NXT, AEW, Impact Wrestling. Somebody that has been on TV quite a bit. It's not a no-name person. I'm going to put a picture up. Who dat? First two people that get it right will get prizes. So we'll have fun. Yes, Sam, no Rich Swann again. Impact Wrestling cannot be this stupid. They just can't be this stupid. I mean, I understand they're doing a great job protecting their wrestlers from the outside elements. They don't want a COVID outbreak, and they are being uber careful, and you got to praise that. But then don't do fucking storylines like this. You know how stupid Rich Swann looks in storyline? To have Kenny Omega trolling him for how many months, and he doesn't show up? What did I say 6 months ago? Did I remember when I said 6 months ago that Tony Khan was going to do a McMemphis with Vince McMahon in Memphis 1993, and sure enough, it started happening on the first Elevation episode? I've been saying for 6 months now that Tony Khan is going to join up with Kenny Omega. He's going to do the Bischoff, NWO. Tony Khan is going to be an on-air heel character. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we've been talking about that for 6-7 months. You wait and see. Yeah, I could see them calling him Tony Khan, but spelling it C-O-N. Tony Khan. Yeah, I could see it. Cruiserweight, I'll get into yours in a moment. I want to wrap up the NXT discussion first. So we start getting vignettes. Little Pomeranian dog, wondering who it is. Props to all of you out there that immediately realized that it was Taya Valkyrie's dog. And as we said earlier, she will be making her debut April 13th. I'm looking forward to it. At least you now know that she's going to be in NXT. Now, it's something I think people didn't think about either. A lot of people thought she was going right to the main roster, maybe even reuniting with John Morrison. Not yet, and not for a while. You do not hype up her debut, hype her for the first Tuesday NXT. Yes, we had Super Tuesdays before, but for the first regular episode, you're not bringing her to the main roster that quickly. I don't know if they'll acknowledge the relationship with John Morrison on camera, but if they ever did, I'd like to see John Morrison maybe show up on an NXT episode once in a while. So we will see. We will see. But cute dog. Cute dog. I thought that was a cute segment. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think that's probably the right dog to put in that scenario. A lot of hype for Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. Like I said, tonight was really to hype up TakeOver because today was the last episode of NXT before TakeOver and before they moved to Tuesday. That's it. Next week is TakeOver, and again, it's also airing on Peacock. So if the ratings go down, you know, just remember that some viewers will be watching on Peacock. Now we have the Battle Royal. Wow, yeah, the Battle Royal. We're already up to the Battle Royal. Now, the participants in the Battle Royal were Isaiah Swerve Scott, Leon Ruff, Dexter Lumis, Roderick Strong, Bronson Reed, Kushida, Jake Atlas, Pete Dunne, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, Austin Theory, and Tyler Rust. Roderick Strong took his ball, went home, so he wasn't in. So we had 11 people. Now, they teased earlier tonight, little confrontation with Pete Dunne and Kushida. Keep that in your mind because this leads to a TakeOver match. Before the Battle Royal starts, Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff start brawling. Because they didn't call a bell yet, even though Scott went over the top rope, it was no elimination. The Battle Royal, I'll be honest with you, I thought was very lackluster. I'm really confused at some of the eliminations. I don't know. I really was not all that impressed with this Battle Royal. You had Isaiah Swerve Scott. He eliminated Jake Atlas after a little bit of distraction by Malcolm Bivens. So Jake Atlas is gone. I don't think anybody expected otherwise. Then Tyler Rust is eliminated by Isaiah Swerve Scott. And you have 2 eliminations in less than 2 minutes. And meanwhile, everybody's brawling, but because there's an odd number in the match, Dexter Lumis is just standing there. And you know me, Dexter Lumis has been my favorite NXT wrestler for a while, since Keith Lee left. And he was my pick last week, although we started talking about Austin Theory. That would be an intriguing match, Austin Theory versus Johnny Gargano. They don't want to do that yet. So we have Dexter Lumis standing in the corner watching everything. No one is trying to brawl with him at all. So next we have Austin Theory inadvertently eliminating himself, which was surprise number 1, because you would think Austin Theory would be one of the final 6 to give that suspension of disbelief, that thought, hey, maybe they would go with Austin Theory versus Gargano. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? Would they dare do the finger poke of doom? Why not let that simmer for 7 days? No, Austin Theory gets eliminated. And that kind of put the air out of the balloon for me all night. Because we started with 11 people. In a matter of a couple of minutes, 3 are already eliminated. So we're down to 8. And remember, the last 6 advanced to TakeOver. So we only need 2 more eliminations, and that's it. Well, we get those 2 eliminations like this. Kushida and Pete Dunne are going at it in the ring. Kushida puts the armbar on Pete Dunne, doesn't break it. They both go over the top rope. Kushida and Pete Dunne are eliminated. So that's it. We got our final 6 who are going to be in the Eliminator Gauntlet match next Wednesday. And whoever wins that match will take on Gargano next Thursday. Now, here's the consolation. During the Battle Royal, they then announced that Pete Dunne versus Kushida will take place at TakeOver. So they're not going to be off the show. They will be battling one-on-one. So at least we got that match out of it. So the final 6 are Dexter Lumis, LA Knight, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott. Well, Johnny Gargano now comes to ringside to do some commentary. Bronson Reed picks up both Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff, dumps Leon Ruff first, then dumps Scott. So they're both eliminated. Now, the final 6, based on how they're eliminated, determines who starts the Eliminator next week. So because Ruff and Scott were the first 2 of the 6 eliminated, they will be coming out number 1 and number 2 next week. Next, you had Bronson Reed get eliminated, so he will be the 3rd person to come out next week. So now we got to determine who is going to come out number 4, number 5, and last, number 6. So still, Dexter Lumis, during all of this, is still standing in the corner. I kid you not. It was hilarious, don't get me wrong. And again, I love Dexter Lumis. He got a little played after a while. But they're down to Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, and LA Knight. Cameron Grimes is offering money to both of them. Dexter Lumis is just like in a daze. LA Knight is verbally like, it's not a bad idea. And LA Knight eliminates Cameron Grimes. So Cameron Grimes is going to be coming out 4th. So now it's down to Dexter Lumis and LA Knight. And basically LA Knight eliminates Dexter Lumis. So really all that means is LA Knight will be coming out last in the gauntlet next week. That's really all it is. They're a little stare down with LA Knight and Gargano talking a little smack against each other. And, Gargano basically rubbing it into LA Knight that he's a newbie still in NXT. And that's what we have looking forward to next week. So that Gauntlet Eliminator does not feel as solid as before. It almost feels like LA Knight and Dexter Lumis are the 2 favorites to win and take on Gargano. My original pick was Lumis. I'm going to stick with it. But I tell you, I think they made an awful mistake not leaving Austin Theory in there, because that would have did so much in the thinking department for the next 7 days by fans. Could Theory possibly, even if there was no attention? But so that's how NXT went down. As I said earlier, right after the Battle Royal, Io Shirai came out again, called out Raquel Gonzalez, and we ended with the women brawling. And right now for TakeOver, this is what we have. For night one, Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. Also on night one, MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships. You have the six-man gauntlet eliminator match. Again, the participants are Dexter Lumis, LA Knight, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Leon Ruff, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Whoever wins that match will go on to Thursday night, night two. You have Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT UK Championship. And added tonight, Pete Dunne versus Kushida. I'm assuming another match may be added as well, but right now we have those five going at it. Actually, wait a minute. For the women's tag team title match, is that night one or night two? Something tells me that's probably night two, because we need a women's match for night two. Anyone out there remember? And Austin Nance, thank you for the kind words, my friend. Much love. I appreciate it. Trust me, I see all the good words that you always throw out for me, and I see everybody pretty much ignores you. I see what goes on. It's all good. When they're silent, you know that we're doing something good. Yeah, night two. So yeah, that makes sense. So night two, you have Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. They're going to take on Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Thank you, Benjamin, for the kind words as well. He agrees about Austin. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match. It's going to be phenomenal. We'll see if Roderick Strong gets involved. We'll see if we see the return of what's his face? Bobby Fish. Finn Balor defending the NXT Championship against Karrion Kross. You'll have Johnny Gargano defending the North American Championship against whoever wins the Gauntlet Eliminator the night before. And a ladder match to determine the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion. It'll be Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar. So that is 5 matches also. Right now they have 5 matches set for night 1, 5 for night 2. They may end up leaving it at 5 apiece, because remember, this is going to air next Wednesday on the USA Network and on Peacock. So they want to keep it around 2 hours. And some of these matches will go a long time, so we'll see what happens. And that is it. So those are your 2 recaps tonight. We went about 2 hours, which is pretty cool. Just before we wrap it up, Crazy Cruiserweight says Orange Cassidy should do a cinematic match with a House of Mirrors at an amusement park. Hey, I'm all for cinematic matches as long as they are not done every other month. It almost reminds you of early Elimination Chamber. Like, you want it to feel like a real special occasion, but you don't want to do cinematic matches just for the sake of doing it. The guy's a wrestler. You know what I mean? And I understand why you do cinematic for Undertaker. You do it for Sting. You did it for Bray Wyatt and Cena because they really weren't going to have a match. I think there was only one move the whole night during their match. So I understand why you do it, especially with some, odd themes. You had Braun and Bray, their cinematic match. Hell, you even had the New Day and the Wyatt family, which was pretty good. The Hardy Compound. So, it has its role. But I don't want to just see people thrown into it, because then you run the risk of getting like what you got with Britt Baker and Big Swole. That was not very good. Garth, my thoughts on the new designed IWGP World. Oh, no, wait. No, didn't they redesign the North American Championship or the Intercontinental? Wait, hold on a second. Garth is asking, what's my honest opinion about the first ever IWGP World Heavyweight Champ? That's not the belt that they redid. What was the belt that they redesigned the other day? That's got to be a different belt. Wasn't that the other belt? Somebody will write it right now. I saw the redesigned belt, and if anybody wants, I'll post a picture tomorrow. I didn't think there was really much wrong with the new design. I mean, I saw people really like cracking jokes about it, but they don't give a shit about New Japan or IWGP or anything like that. All right, they unified the IWGP and the international title. So yeah, they redid the IWGP World Heavyweight title. I didn't have any problem with it. I mean, I saw people making jokes. It looks like a Divas title and this and that. I really didn't see anything wrong with it. You know, you got to understand something. And I brought this up, you know, when you see like Emi Sakura and you see some of the other Japanese talent that come across, even Ryo Mizunami. You know, their tributes to pop culture icons, the way they dress, their outfits are much different than, you know, what we have in the United States. So, yeah, Sam is saying it's the IC and heavyweight title. Both belts merged. But if you're talking about the design of the title that was floating around, I don't see anything wrong with it because their culture and their designs are a little bit different than ours. You know? I mean, you know, look, I brought up in the past, you know, the way I dressed, and I would just drive 2 hours away into Suffolk County, Long Island, back in the early 90s, and how we just dressed on people were looking at us like we were weird. They thought we looked like we were outcasts. It's just, you know, different cultures. That's all it is. VJ, I wouldn't say it's the same shape of Cody's tattoo. I mean, Cody's tattoo is not as unique as people claim it to be. There's a lot of little skull things floating out there that, you know, look similar. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It's just like the TNT Championship. When the TNT Championship first came out, yes, they were going to add design to it. They couldn't do it because of COVID. But I like it. And honestly, I like the old look as well. They retired that look. You know, they changed the color of the strap. I don't think it was, and as far as them unifying the title, Rocky, you know, maybe it wasn't necessary, but, you know, we've had titles in the past get unified out of nowhere. I think the one that stands out to me, wasn't it the Cruiserweight title and the European title? Didn't WWE unify those two? Didn't we get, I'm trying to remember what other titles. Wasn't Rob Van Dam involved in one of the unification? I think X-Pac. Was it X-Pac and Billy Kidman that were involved in a unification match? I mean, look, you're asking me to randomly bring up things that happened 20 plus years ago or 20 years ago. But we've had unification matches. You know, maybe it wasn't necessary, but for them, you know, maybe with everything going on as well, maybe they just wanted to focus on some less belts. Look, everybody's been complaining that there's too many belts in wrestling. So here's a case where they unified two. Look at TNA. They just unified the Impact Wrestling and the TNA Championship, even though the TNA Championship shouldn't have been recognized from the get-go. They still did that. Okay, Kevin Milwaukee, yes. All right, so I was on the right path. RVD unified the European and the hardcore titles. Okay, yes, I do remember that. For some reason, I remember something with X-Pac. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn there was two others. The hardcore title and the IC title, yes. That I remember as well. Oh, yes, well, wait a minute. Dreamer versus RVD wasn't the hardcore title. That was it after that. I think Dreamer lost, and I remember he was very emotional about it. I think that's what it was. But, you know, look, sometimes you have titles unify, and it just seems like it comes out of nowhere. It doesn't make sense, but, you know, in the end, it happens. It happens. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. And look, no reason why you can't bring it back. Or maybe they're going to create a new title. Maybe there's an idea for a different championship down the line, and maybe that will replace the different championship. Gordon says, that was the light? Okay, yes. I knew it was something with X-Pac. The light heavyweight championship and the cruiserweight championship. Okay, yes. I knew X-Pac was involved in one of them. So I know my memory's a little shot, but it's not that shot. But anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. But remember, tomorrow night, Thursday night, 10:05 p.m., we will pick up where we left off over here. And remember, Thursday night, I mean, all these shows are your shows, but Thursday night, everything is on the table. Nothing is out of bounds. You want to talk politics, sports, baseball, wrestling, you know, growing up, DT, whatever is on your mind, that dictates the show tomorrow. We will have an open show. We'll have a lot of fun. There'll be Q&A all night long. And during it, we will do that contest, the Who Dat. So you got a nice hint. I'm going to show you a picture of somebody that is currently wrestling in either WWE, NXT, AEW, or Impact Wrestling. And this is someone who's been on TV more than once. Quite a bit. All you got to do is tell me who that. Plain and simple. And I promise you, the person will be dressed in wrestling attire. Will not be their graduation picture. It'll not be, you know, I think it'll be a little tough. Obviously, I don't want to put somebody out there where 1,000 people in 2 seconds guess it. You know, you'll have to think about it a little bit. But remember, we'll give away 2 prizes tomorrow. The first person that nails it, they'll choose if they want the. See, I don't have it in the room right now, but I'll show you tomorrow. They'll choose the first person that wins their choice. They can have the dual sign photo of Karrion Kross and Scarlett, or they can pass that up and get a shot at the prize wheels or the balls. They'll get 2 shots, so they have a chance of winning up to $200. And then once they choose their prize, the second runner-up, the first runner-up, the second person who got the contest right, they'll get the leftovers. So something tells me the first winner will choose the cash, and then the second winner will choose the cross. Now, you're going to probably say to me, how am I going to choose 2 winners? Like, once you know who the name is, somebody could just type it also, and it could be, trust me, once I see 2 people guess it right, that's when the contest ends, and the chat room will be on the screen. We do that for transparency, so you could see the contest is not finagled in any way. And you'll see live on the screen in real time how it goes down, who wins. And I promise you it will not be QT Marshall. QT Marshall will not be the winner, but the contest is in tribute of Who Dat. So, yeah, so I think we are going to exit for tonight. Much love as always, my friends. And as I always ask, if you enjoyed the show tonight, you know what to do. Smash that like button. That tells YouTube that you enjoyed the show. They, in turn, recommend the show to others. And it's still pretty awesome to see people tuning in that never heard of yours truly before. So, and once again, you know, I hope nobody got upset at the pillowcase thing. I just tried to make fun of the Roderick Strong storyline. I thought that was goofy because he sees an arm pad. You know, I don't know. That's just me. I just try to be comedic. It's all lighthearted fun, everyone. There's nothing malicious. But, yeah, my hands are a little red. I don't want to show you my foot right now because it looks disgusting, but maybe I'll snap a picture tomorrow. Every toe is purple. Side of my foot is purple. It's still a little bit swollen, not as bad as what it was on Monday, and I'm wearing a brace. But I think I'll be good to go for the weekend. Thank God it's not my driving leg, and thank God it's not my bad side, because my leg probably would have been a Sid incident. That's how fragile my right side is. So, but it was a freak accident, and, you know, it is what it is. But everyone, much love as always. thank you for the support. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And thank you all again for the birthday wishes. I mean, I mentioned it Monday, but I got to say it again. It was incredible, the response. And I don't ask for it. I don't like celebrating birthdays, but I did this year. And I got to be honest with you, it was one of the more memorable ones. I mean, just the outpouring of love was just absolutely awesome by all of you out there. And that just pushes me to do even better and give you more. So I thank you for that. I really do. Because as much as some of you say that these shows are an escape for the shit going on in your lives, it's an escape for me as well. You know, I'm on the opposite side of the camera, but it is an escape for me too. You know, for a couple of hours, we could just, you know, forget about everything else and talk about whatever we feel like talking about. And I can't thank you enough. So everyone, much love. And I will catch you all tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m. Eastern. And take care. Ciao, everybody.